What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy HD, aka Textual Chatter. Man, look, back with another reaction, and today we're gonna be reacting to my guy Dave Cyberwalks. He did a series of videos, and the one we'll be looking at today is he'll be talking about breaking into cybersecurity with no experience, zero to threat analyst. So I ain't gonna BS you. Let's get into the video.
What is up, guys? Welcome and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Day, and on this channel I talk about cybersecurity. In this video I'm going to be going over a quick visualization of how I got to where I'm at in my cybersecurity career from this little 17-year-old college student in 2019 to where I'm at right now in my cybersecurity career and where I'm looking forward. I've talked about this a lot like in previous videos and like different things like that. But what really made me want to do this video was because I actually did this for a talk I'm having soon, and I was like, this is a really nice way of visualizing my journey in like really simple steps.
Yo, he's already in talking kind of like his overview, but this is dope, man. This graphic that he has right now of showing how he started and kind of where he plans to go to. Visualization is because everybody learns differently, and I think this is going to be good for a lot of people that come in and view this video. So, man, hats off to him. This is dope. I already know it's going to be good because I could tell, this took some time. So definitely, man, shout out to you, man. It's a great video. This is the reason why he got all these subs, man. I'm telling you. Let's see.
What we can draw from this. All right, so my initial interest in cybersecurity, it was before September 2019. It actually started in when I was in high school, like maybe 2 years before that, because I took a gap year when I graduated from high school. But I took this cybersecurity class. I was in a cybersecurity club actually in my school. Essentially, it was a cybersecurity club for us to just learn about cybersecurity. And because like the teacher that was doing the club was interested in that stuff, so she organized that club, and that was where my interest started. But I was short-lived in that club because I had to move to another state. So my interest in cybersecurity kind of fizzled down. Then when I graduated high school, I honestly didn't know what I wanted to do. I graduated high school at 16, and I didn't apply to any colleges because I wasn't sure how I was going to pay for college. I honestly didn't even. I honestly didn't know what I wanted to do. I thought I wanted to do like computer science, or I wanted to do software engineering or programming. But I just couldn't figure out what I wanted to do.
And I'm gonna stop right here because I think this is a big issue for a lot of young people figuring out their path in cybersecurity. And yes, I am going to plug my book right here. The Textual Approach to Breaking into Cybersecurity is my ebook where it helps you with things like this when you're trying to figure out where you want to get to in cybersecurity. But I do think it takes some time because this is not just one different job title. It's not like a fireman or policeman, or you got what, investigator, detective, and cap. It's not like that. It's so many different titles, so many different things are being created every day that it'll take some time to figure out what really what you want to do. So I'm not going to keep going on with that because I know you guys want to see the meat and potatoes. Let's see. He got figuring it out right here. Let's see what he's talking about right here. Let's go.
Like cybersecurity is really broad, and I was like, okay, how do I figure this thing out? I don't want to.
He said it right there. You see that? I just skipped to something, so I hadn't seen this already. And let me get rid of Siri.
Come out of college and not really, I'm started looking for jobs. I want to start getting experience one way or the other, so I can have like a decent a decent level of experience before I graduate from college. So I started looking at internships and entry level jobs at this time. So this was like January 2020, and I started looking at internships and entry level IT positions, like desktop support, IT support, maybe part time positions as well. and I could see that a lot of them require certifications. So this was kind of when I started getting into the world of certifications and how every single job posting I was looking at required certifications. And in hindsight, actually this was in January 2020. So imagine how it is right now. It's 2021, December 2021. So certifications have always been like this huge requirement in several IT jobs. But back to the story. So January, I was like, okay, I have to start taking certifications. And I felt like for the IT jobs I was looking at, I was seeing a lot of A plus there, CCNA stuff. I was like, you know what? Let me start from A plus. I think that would give me the basic knowledge for basic IT stuff, and I could get a job with with the A plus, for IT support job.
And I'm gonna stop right there at the A plus. I only recommend A plus to people who have like no knowledge of computers. I don't typically, recommend it to people who have some knowledge but want to get into cybersecurity. I typically recommend like a network plus, security plus, what you see with this graphic, because most cybersecurity positions are not asking for an A plus, because the things that you learn in the A plus are not things you typically do when you're doing a cybersecurity role. Close some stuff out. So let's keep it moving. Let's see what he got in his last section.
For job. So I took the A plus in February when I failed. So I failed core one and core two, and I was so disappointed in myself. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. But one way or the other, I started studying again, and by August, actually by July, I passed the A plus. So at this point, I was still in my job search, trying to find internships and entry level positions. So at this point, I had applied to like over 150 positions, right? So we're currently somewhere here right now. So I'd applied to over 150 positions. Truthful is, I sucked.
And I'm gonna stop it right there. I'm gonna get back into it. But before this time, I didn't really know. I think I seen Day on LinkedIn, but we weren't as tight as we were now. So back then I probably would say, hey, you don't need to apply to 100 plus jobs, because you're probably just applying to stuff, opposed to taking your time and see what jobs align with the current skill set that you have and go from there. That's what I tell people, because if your skill set doesn't align with what you're applying to, it's kind of like a waste of time to apply to that. So that's kind of what I tend to tell people, but let's keep it moving.
At interviewing, because I did not know how to interview for positions. I'd never worked before. I'd never worked in in a corporate job before, like a restaurant job or something like that. So I wasn't really good at interviewing. And I had to learn that. I had to learn that the hard way. But when I figured out how to interview properly, I eventually got an interview with the company I got my internship with. And I made up my mind. I was like, I want to get this. I really have to kill this interview. So I killed the interview, and I actually have a video on my channel where I talk about how I got my internship. I'll leave a link to it. A card to it somewhere on the corner of the screen. Actually, a whole playlist of internships and stuff like that. So definitely check that out for how to get internships. So I interviewed for the internship, and I got the internship. It was great. So I became a cybersecurity intern. Started in I believe September. Yeah, I started September of 2020. However, between the time where I was applying for my internship, when I got the offer before I started, I was studying for the Network Plus, because I wanted to get a baseline understanding of networking, and also like improve my credentials. And Network Plus was like the next step afterwards. This was definitely not an easy exam, but it definitely.
All right, so he's talking about a lot of good stuff. Let me see what this next section is. He has. I'm gonna skip around in this section. Let's see what else he says, and then we'll go to the next stuff.
Understand processes and different things, just the basic security stuff. So give me this book by Darrell Gibson, the Get Certified Get Ahead book, and it's like, hey, read this book and take the Security Plus so you can become a better security intern. And I did that. I studied for the Security Plus in about a month or two. After my internship, I got the Security Plus, and I became the better intern they wanted. Just kidding. But I took the Security Plus while on my internship, and definitely gave me a better grounding into terms of like understanding like what cybersecurity is really about. So at my internship, I was still doing all of this fun stuff, learning about cybersecurity, learning about cloud, learning about different things, and I was just making sure to immerse myself in this field, and everything. So my internship was a 6-month internship. That was what the offer said.
Okay, cool. So he's talking about this internship. This is a long video, guys, so that's why I'm not trying to play like everything for play. I'm trying to just skip around, and I'm gonna link the whole video if you want to watch it. This definitely could be helpful for somebody that's looking. So this is first full-time position. Let's get to what he has to say about that.
So by January 2021, I actually started intensively interviewing for interviews and stuff. I was interviewing for cybersecurity internships and stuff like that. But my mentor was like, "Hey, you could actually, get entry level cybersecurity jobs, like full time jobs, not internships. You can combine it with school. If you can, I know you can do it. And you have the skills, you have the knowledge. You should apply for full time positions." I was like, "Yeah, of course. What could possibly happen? The worst I could say is no." So I started applying for full time positions. Started interviewing for full time positions. I think I interviewed for maybe 2 or 3 full time positions, and I eventually got an offer for my first full time position with only just 6 months of my internship experience and barely.
And I'm gonna stop right there because you see, this time he said he only interviewed for, I think, three to 150 he applied to for the internship. You see the difference? He took time and applied the stuff that he have a good chance at actually landing, and he did land something. So if you're watching this right now, don't do the scattershot approach. Be intentional and specific with the jobs that you apply to. Let's keep it rolling.
Barely just like being in like barely starting yeah, that was sophomore year. So I was, just it was just sophomore year, right? It was just like second semester of some sophomore year, and I started my first full time job as a cyber SOC analyst at a managed security service provider, where I was working with like multiple clients. Essentially monitoring their security environment, using the SIM and ADR and all that fun stuff. While I was at this position, I got my Azure Fundamentals, my Splunk Core Certified User, got my CYSA Plus, and I started my WGU program. This was when I stopped my associate's degree. That was like my second year in college, so I started my associate's degree.
Hey, and my guys didn't even have a degree. So in my book, I talk about you don't need a degree. Degree, can it help? Yeah, but you don't absolutely need one to get into this field. You just got to come ready to work hard and network. And that's exactly what they did. But let's keep it rolling.
Degree around like June. I started WGU. I didn't graduate from my associate's degree because I feel like it was just a waste of time trying to finish the program because of like the classes were just like totally irrelevant. I was like, this is such a waste of time. I could spend my time like taking certifications or studying or labbing, doing things that are more important. So for me, that was like a really good decision. And I moved to WGU, which was way better because I was getting relevant certifications and learning relevant skills for my career.
I'm gonna pause it one more time. I've been recommending people go the WGU route for that very reason, because of relevant coursework. And I think I'm going to do a video on that very soon, on the reason why you probably don't need to go to college is because it's not useful, but the curriculum is outdated. And I'm probably gonna do some research on different colleges, and I'm probably just doing from Louisiana, like 3 or 4. And read out the curriculums and then compare it to what you may have to do on the job if you're trying to get in cybersecurity. So definitely a good video idea. Let's go.
I started majoring in network operations and security, and I have a video on how I started my WG program on my classes and everything. I actually have a whole playlist on that, so definitely check that out. So, this is between March and June. I was at this job between March and June, just grinding, learning stuff. For me, it was always about learning because I've always known I was going to have a really steep learning curve because I kind of just got thrown into the field, right? I basically didn't have like any pre-security knowledge or I literally got my security plus while I was on my internship, right? I haven't taken any security classes at school. I hadn't done much of labbing before I got into the industry. I built home labs or whatever, I studied or whatever. But I didn't have like any previous IT experience. So I always knew that I always have a steep learning curve. And if I'm going to survive or really do well at my job, I have to be constantly learning because I was thrown into it. So I have to speed up my process and get up to speed with things fast. So I'm always learning, right? I'm always learning. Like I'm always learning. All right.
He's always learning.
So moving forward, I was at this job for a couple of months, learning and everything. Building my skills. I feel like in a short while, I might have plateaued at this job. Even though like I think I had a lot of experience because I was working with like multiple clients, but in in a short while I kind of plateaued out. I've never really talked about this in any video before, but I feel like a lot of times, like in a short while, things get super repetitive. Like you plateau at a place, and I know it kind of doesn't make any sense, because like it was barely like 3 months, right? But I knew and felt like I plateaued in such a really short while, because I just like learned everything so fast, and I got up and running. But moving forward, so I started interviewing again. I started interviewing for positions. So I had like 3 major companies I was interviewing for. I was interviewing with my current company where I'm working at. I was interviewing with Intel for a security engineering position. I was interviewing with a third company that shall be unnamed for a security analyst position. And for the third company, I got to the final stages. I actually talked about this in another video on my channel on how I became a threat analyst. So definitely check that out. I have a lot of videos on my channel that you should check out if you've not checked them out. So please check them out. So, just to cut the story short, so I interviewed and everything. I got an offer from Intel for a security engineering position for the summer, and I got the offer for a threat analyst 1 position at my current job. I was like, okay, Intel is like temporary. Of course, Intel is a big company, right? It's a big tech company. Like, the pay was good, it had benefits, and all of that, and it was a possibility of them extending the internship or maybe offering me full time afterwards. But it was a possibility. It wasn't guaranteed. I was like, too much uncertainty, and also the fact that I felt like I was gonna be learning more at my current position, given that it was a full-time job, it's a threat analyst position. I was going to be working with a really huge client. So I was like, you know what, Intel, maybe another time. So I declined the offer from Intel and started my position as a threat analyst at my current job. This started in June. I've been there ever since. It's December right now. And I started learning about, I learned a lot of things, right? Because I was working in a really large client.
And it's crazy, the fact that he started in June, which is 3 years after I started there in June. Granted, I'm not at that company anymore, but that's pretty dope. You've heard me talk about him a lot of times, but he's been killing it. He's killing it. As you can see, look at his progression, because I may or may not play anything else, so we'll see. But in almost 6 months span, he's gotten a promotion. He's at the same company, but it's a promotion to another thing. Now he has says like what's next for 2022. So that's pretty dope. He's going to talk about that a lot. I don't think I want to go into that. I'll touch a little bit of this getting promoted part, and then, we'll wrap it up.
Position for another client, and one of my senior analysts was like, hey, look, I know you're really skilled, or whatever, like, I think you fare really well. You're quite qualified for this senior threat analyst position, right? So the way my job works is there's like 4 stages of analyst. I think 5 stages. So you start with threat analyst 1, then you move up to threat analyst 2, senior threat analyst 1, senior threat analyst 2, and then I think principal analyst and everything afterwards, or maybe manager or whatever, or like lead threat analyst or something like that. So I was trying to go from threat analyst 1 to senior threat analyst 1, right? That's like 2 levels up. I interviewed for the position, dude. It was the longest interview ever. Like, it was over 2 hours, man. Brutal, really brutal. I did pretty well, but due to like, for some reason, I believe strongly it's because of like my limited experience. I feel like some things just certainly come with experience, right? Some skills, some things, no matter how fast you try to learn things, there's just some things you wouldn't know without some level of experience.
And that is also a fact. You can study and do as much as you want to, but experience is the best teacher. I'm going to stop the video right there because I played enough of it, and I want you guys to go to this channel and check out the whole video. He has another one. I don't know if I'm going to be reacting to that, but I've talked about this in the last podcast with AJ, and recently me and Dave have talked about this. It's the fact that you have to be willing to put the work in to get where you want to go. Like, no cap, I probably could text Dave right now and ask him what he's doing, and he's probably going to say, oh, I'm labbing. Hold on, let me see if I can talk to him. Yeah, bro, I'm labbing right now, or he's studying or something. Like, he's always putting in work. So that's all I have to say about that. Like, he's gonna go far. Like, you know what I'm saying? Look at the time span. Look at in a year. Let's count. Internship beginning of the year, full time, middle, full time. Then he had pretty much 3 full times, He said it's 2, but I'm counting the first full job 2, and then the promotion I'm counting as 3 because technically it's a different position, and I think he's with a different client. So that's 3 different things in 1 year. This man's life changed in pretty much a year, and that's what can happen with this cybersecurity career field. You might not hit it out the park in the beginning because it's some things he didn't say on here that I'm not going to say because he didn't say it. I would have touched on it if he mentioned it. But I'm telling you, knowing the right people, put it in the work, you'll be fine and you will get your bread eventually. So that's all I can tell you. Shout out to y'all, man. If you're still watching right now, make sure you like the channel, subscribe, leave a comment. Check out my ebook if you want to get into cybersecurity. But yeah, and shout out to Day Cyberboss, man. Y'all make sure y'all go sub to him. And I'm out.